7 years and dozens of air fryers later, these are the things I actually do when I use mine every day. Hi, I'm Meme, and this is pretty much what I focus on, real everyday use, so I'll show you what actually works. The first thing is liners. I don't use liners at all. For me, they're a waste of money because they get in the way of airflow, and airflow is the whole point of an air fryer. I only use parchment paper if I'm cooking something soft like cookies or dough and I don't want it sinking through the tray holes. But once it sets, I remove it so the air can move properly again. And even with parchment, you'll notice the same thing. If it blocks the holes or curls over the food, it affects how the air moves. I've actually had it curl over food before, so now I just cut a smaller piece so it only sits under the food in the center of the tray. And never put parchment or foil in the air fryer empty. If there's nothing holding it down, it can lift up towards the heating element. You can use magnets to hold it down, but at that point it's just extra effort and cost for something that's not really needed. I've also seen people place liners under the crisper tray, but that blocks airflow from underneath, and that's exactly where the air is supposed to circulate. Even the liners with holes don't fix it, because grease still goes through anyway. And silicone liners are even thicker, so they block more airflow, so you don't get the same crispy result. This is my personal preference. If liners make cleanup easier for you, use them. Just know they can affect airflow, so food may not crisp as well or may need a little extra time to cook through. Another thing I get asked a lot is how to stop cheese or light toppings from flying around. If I'm cooking something with cheese, I like to preheat the air fryer first. That bit of heat helps the outside set faster, so the cheese doesn't start moving around before it melts. And if you have an extra tray with holes in it, you can place it lightly over the food to help hold things down. I know some people use toothpicks. I don't bother. For me, that's just extra effort. Preheating is one of those things people go back and forth on. I don't preheat for everything, but I do when I need that instant heat. For chicken, meat and fish, I like to hear the sizzle as I place them in, and that instant heat creates a nice sear and helps lock in the juices. Also for mozzarella sticks and halloumi, I want the outside to start cooking right away, giving it time to crisp and brown before the cheese starts to melt inside. If the air fryer starts cold, the inside can soften or melt before the outside sets, and that's when things fall apart. After that, it's really about temperature. You don't always need to cook everything at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I usually go a bit lower and cook it a little longer so it cooks through properly to the center. If I want more color or crisp, I'll increase the temperature in the last couple of minutes. For chicken, I don't go too high, I cook it lower and I give it an extra few minutes so the outside doesn't burn before the inside is done. And don't be afraid to use other settings like bake or roast. Those usually run on a lower fan, which helps keep food from drying out. Then I'll switch back to air fry at the end just to crisp it up. Frozen foods are a bit different. For things like nuggets or fries, I use the highest temperature because that helps pull moisture out faster and gives a crispier result. But at the same time, moisture makes a big difference too. This is something I picked up after testing the T-fal air fryer. If I want softer vegetables, especially broccoli, I'll add about a quarter cup of water to the basket. It makes a big difference to how they turn out. The tray makes a big difference too. If I want something more juicy and tender, especially chicken, I'll sometimes remove the crisper tray and cook it directly in the basket. That way the juices don't drip away and the chicken stays more moist. If I want crispy results, I use the tray because it lifts the food and lets the air move underneath. So I don't use the tray the same way for everything, it just depends on the result I want. Someone mentioned it's a pain to remove food one piece at a time, and I agree. For things like fries, I usually just tip the basket out. I hold the tray in place with silicone tongs because it can fall out, and I don't use any metal utensils because they will scratch the coating. Also, don't put a hot basket straight onto your counter. I always place it on something heat safe. Cleaning is a big one. After cooking, I'll scrape or pour the grease out first using a silicone spatula into a container, then dispose of it. Don't pour grease down the drain. Then I wash the basket and tray with a non-abrasive sponge or a firm bristle brush if there are any stuck-on bits. If something is really stuck, I'll soak it for about 5 minutes in hot water and dish soap. most of the time it comes off really easily, which is another reason why I don't bother with liners. If I'm cooking more than one batch, I don't start the next one with grease or crumbs still in the basket. I'll do a quick wipe first because leftover bits can burn and transfer onto your next batch of food. A lot of people ask about smells or burning, and this is usually why. If your air fryer has a window or glass section, wipe away all the grease and wash it out and dry it as soon as you can, because the moisture and grease can sit there and over time it can leave cloudy marks or water stains. Every now and then I'll use a flexible bottle brush to gently clean around the heating element. I've got a full cleaning video for that and I'll leave a link in the description. If your air fryer is new or you notice a smell, do a quick burn off, just run it empty for a short time. I've got a separate video for that too, so I'll link that below. If you use it the way it's meant to be used and follow these small tips, your air fryer will last for years and you'll actually enjoy using it. I use mine every day and I've never been disappointed. Now I'm curious, how many of these were you already doing and which one surprised you? If you like this kind of practical real use testing, that's what I share here, so you can subscribe if you want to see more. If you're trying to figure out which air fryer is actually worth buying, I've tested quite a few. I'll link one of those videos here for you to watch next. Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope to catch you in the next one.